Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Hagerty, Ranking Member Reed, Secretary Bessent. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Senator, nice to see you.
Chairman Hagerty, I'm impressed at your streamlining this hearing. It was striking. And I'm glad we're able to get right into the meat of the conversation. We are today spending more on the interest on our national debt than we are on our national defense. And I applaud your stated support for reducing the federal deficit and trying to get a handle on our national debt, but I struggle to square that with your support for tax policies that will, under CBO's analysis, add at least $2.4 trillion to our debt in the next decade. And given that credit rating agencies have just downgraded U.S. debt, I am concerned that by continuing to pile debt onto our national balance sheet, we will undermine growth, we will damage our ability to borrow, and we will lay the foundation for the next fiscal crisis. Do you share any of those concerns, and how do you see us making progress in improving our overall fiscal balance sheet?
Senator, I don't think you and I met in person. I think we had a long...
We have met, yeah.
Yeah, we did meet, and we also had a very long phone conversation,
yes.
I remember. The reason I'm sitting here today is because I became very concerned about our government's finances, and that in the trailing year, we will have had the highest deficit to GDP when we were not at war and not
yes.
in a recession.
Right.
And so this is what we have inherited. If we look at the CBO scoring, and I'm not making a judgment on the good people who work at CBO, I'm making a judgment on their models. The models assume a static 1.7 or 1.8% growth, right. whether we pass the one big beautiful bill or it fails. No matter what, we always grow at 1.8%. I believe through higher growth and the cost cutting that we are doing, that we can bring that under control. And I would note that if we want to use CBO scoring, CBO scoring, which I don't agree with, is at 2.4 trillion over the 10-year window. The CBO also scores the president's tariffs at 2.8 trillion. So that would be a surplus of 400 billion.
Let me move on to some more focused questions on specific things in your agency. I would welcome a chance about the broader economic picture, because I frankly don't believe the tariff income assessment. I do believe the tax, but we can debate. We literally could debate this longer than I believe I have.
But
let's move to sanctions.
If we want to agree on CBO, we have
yep.
to agree on CBO.
And I'll take that point.
Good.
Secretary Rubio testified recently the Trump administration has not lifted any sanctions against Russia. Is that true?
Not to my knowledge.
And sanctions, which I've long followed, I've served on this subcommittee for many years. It's not a static game. For every company that's sanctioned, typically they then move to set up a front company, to find another avenue. And with the Russians in particular, they're quite skilled at sanctions evasion by setting up new companies in other countries, including in the PRC. And for every sector that's sanctioned, there's a whole cottage industry devoted to evading them. Effective sanctions depend on follow-up, enforcement, and pursuit, which is why you have a whole talented team at Treasury focused on finding evaders and front companies, redesignating them publicly, closing the loopholes. Treasury and state were rolling out new sanctions designations every few weeks, much of last year. How many new Russian entities have you designated under your sanctions authority since January?
I will get back to you with that number.
The answer is 0.
Yep.
How many entities worldwide have you sanctioned for doing business with Russian companies in ways that undermine our sanctions and export controls?
I will get back to you with that number.
I believe the answer is 0. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love it if you'd get back to me and tell me I'm wrong. But the PRC is helping Russia's defense industry by providing dual-use components and advanced technologies. Last week, Chancellor Merz briefed a bipartisan group of us on Russia's alarming rearmament with help from China, Iran, and North Korea. How many Chinese firms have been designated for doing work directly with Russia's defense industry?
I will get back to you on that. I will tell you that we have sanctioned numerous Chinese companies for receiving Iranian oil, and we have been working on the shadow fleets are not independent.
Yes.
And I believe in what you said, the Russians and the Iranians are very good at evading sanctions with these so-called shadow fleets. So we are working on we have been pushing on those. We have sanctioned what are called teapot refineries in China. So these are non-state-owned, privately owned refineries. This is a new innovative measure that we have done. We have chosen not to go after Chinese government-owned. We are also working on tracking down the owners of these refineries, whether they have any assets in the U.S., in Western Europe, and moving on those very
I look forward to
aggressively.
talking to you further about sanctions enforcement. Two last questions, Mr. Chairman, since I'm the only senator remaining. I will make them brief. IMF, I just met with the head of the IMF. The IMF is a sound investment in global financial stability. We receive billions in interest every year from them on credit that they extend. In 2023, members agreed to increase quota, capital contributions to the fund. It's my understanding that the Treasury Department and the White House have shown support for a measure to increase quota. Can you just confirm it is, in fact, administration priority to increase our IMF quota?
Yes. So across the multilateral
Yes.
the development banks, we believe that it is a very good way of leveraging tax dollars for U.S. power. And the managing director would have told you, or you may have seen, that I gave a speech about 8 weeks ago during IMF World Bank Week.
She did.
That we are going to go back to basics, and we believe that they should be helping developing countries when they have a sudden stop and with development issues. Same for World Bank.
I would love to work with you, Mr. Secretary, on making sure that the authorization for that increase actually happens this year so that we can move forward in our partnership. The Direct File program allows Americans with very simple tax returns to file their taxes for free. It's been a great success. According to IRS research, 94% of Direct File users rate their experience as excellent or above average. For a government tool for paying taxes, that's pretty darn good. You've expressed support for streamlining IRS operations, and Direct File seems to support that mission. Do you continue to support Direct File, or should I be concerned about rumors that the administration plans to end it?
We are looking at Direct File. We wanted to wait until we got beyond the window of tax filing season, so we are doing an assessment of that now. I will get back to you on that. One of the goals is to have more electronic filing, because I'm cupping the numbers, but in order of magnitude, an electronic filer who doesn't get a refund may cost us under $1.
Yep.
A paper filer who does get maybe up to $80. So I will get back to you on that.
Thank you, because I do think it's a successful program and reduces costs and makes it easier for taxpayers. Thank you for your forbearance, Mr. Chairman.